Please, Mr. Chivas.
Dr. Cordolino.
Here.
Mr. Brown. Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Dr. King.
Here.
Dr. Modrak.
Here.
Mr. Morella.
Here.
Ms. Novi.
Here.
Mr. O'Brien.
Here.
Mr. Palmer.
Here.
Diana Amir.
Here.
And Jonathan Pratt.
Here.
Form President.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jim, can you please read the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law statement?
The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law is enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Montville Township Board of Education approved this meeting date. Notice of the meeting has been posted at the Montville Municipal Building, on Montville Public Schools, the Montville Public Library, the Montville Township Board of Education Administrative Office Building, the Montville Public School website, and advertised in the Daily.
Thank you, Jim. Bayan, Jonathan, what say you?
As most fall sports are coming to a close this weekend and last, the high school is looking forward to the official start of winter sports next Monday, November 21st. The boys and girls cross-country teams both finished with incredibly impressive seasons. The boys placed a history-making third at their sectional championships meet, led by juniors Joseph Desir and Charlie Roy, as well as new sophomore Doug Oligorski. The third place team finish was the best for the boys team in decades and qualified them for the group championships meet this last Saturday, November 12th. Everybody ran well, but unfortunately not well enough to qualify for the state championship meet. However, sophomore Anna George of the girls team qualified as an individual, placing 7th at sectionals and 12th at groups. She will compete for the second year in a row at the State Meet of Champions this Saturday, November 26th. Another very impressive season came from the girls tennis team, led by senior captains Jane Deermeister and Alice Lee, who placed an amazing first at their sectionals tournament. That performance gained them entrance to their group tournament in Mercer County, where the team was unfortunately eliminated by Haddonfield, concluding a season rich with accomplishments. Other notable season finishes include the football team's closing record of 3-7, a positive start for the new coaching staff, poised to improve even more in these upcoming years. Additionally, the boys soccer team finished 9-11 with one tie, and the field hockey team finished 7-10, as did the girls soccer team. As both Ben and I are active athletes in the fall, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude on behalf of the students to the entire athletic program, coaches, and administration for helping the school to a great all-around season.
The forensics team has entered 3 tournaments these last 2 weeks. First at William Tennant Invitational on November 5th, seniors Anjali Shaw placed 5th, Nithya Reddy 2nd, Arishi Gupta 1st in their respective events. The following weekend at Ridge High School, Nithya Reddy placed 4th, Zach Feldman placed 3rd, and Ravi Abdaya came in 2nd. The team took 2nd overall at both tournaments with impressive displays from many underclassmen as well. At Manville Tournament on November 12th, Hitam Pajula was the only senior to place with a 6th place finish in extemporaneous speaking. The school is holding its annual food drive to benefit the local pantry this Thanksgiving all week. This Wednesday and Thursday, November 16th and 17th, the Drama Club is performing their beloved annual fall play. This year's production is Peter Pan and Wendy. 7 senior boys were inducted into the Montville chapter of the National Honor Society last night, following the larger induction last spring. Congratulations to the newly accepted members for all their great achievements in academic performance, leadership, and extracurricular activities. Alex Kim, Michael Tsai, Sean Talzaval, Martin Trevani, Peter Ho, Zach Feldman, and David Champion. Lastly, as the fall sports are wrapping up this week and the one prior, today also signified the end of the first marking period, wrapping up a great first quarter and beginning a new grading period tomorrow.
Thanks very much. As the school year proceeds, are you beginning to come to grips with the fact that this is the last November you're going to be in the school system? The senior year is kind of almost half over. You ready? No. Thank you. Any comments or questions from board members? Let's move forward. Renee, superintendent's report.
Okay, tonight we're going to spend a little bit of time recognizing Cedar Hill for attaining blue ribbon status. I want to start by reading a very brief letter that I received from Governor Christie Dear Superintendent Roper, on behalf of the state of New Jersey, I'm pleased to congratulate Cedar Hill School on being selected as a 2016 National Blue Ribbon School by the United States Department of Education. This prestigious honor bestowed upon Cedar Hill School highlights the outstanding collective achievements, supportive instruction, and quality programs that foster each child's maximum development and potential. As one of only 329 schools to achieve Blue Ribbon status this year, Cedar Hill School has distinguished itself through its high standard of academic excellence. I commend all those who have invested in the unique talents and gifts of our future generation and thank them for supporting an enriched learning environment that has demonstrated that all students can achieve success. As governor, I salute the administrators, staff members, parents, and students at Cedar Hill School and applaud those who will carry and expand these endeavors into the future. Again, congratulations and best wishes for continued success. Sincerely, Chris Christie, Governor. And I'm also excited that Cedar Hill will be recognized by the New Jersey State Board of Education at their December meeting. Last week, I had the honor of accompanying Ms. Fisher and Dr. Raj down in Arlington, Virginia at a two-day recognition event celebrating these schools, and they made no secret of the fact that the 329 schools represented a 0.5% of all of the public schools in the country. So truly a distinct honor to be selected, to be celebrated, and they did a lot of celebrating of the schools. And the final culminating activity was on Tuesday afternoon with what was probably a 4-hour celebration and presentation of the plaques with each individual school team being honored and celebrated. This is truly the kind of honor that is a team effort. This is not the kind of thing that one person can achieve. And it does involve all levels of the school, from the administration to the faculty and the students, the parents. Everyone contributes to this recognition. So I was extremely proud, and I know the board and the whole school community is very proud of this achievement. So we did ask Dr. Raj, and I see a number of the staff members here as well, if you all want to come down. And Dr. Raj, did you bring show and tell?
We have.
Okay, all right. Come on down.
Before we begin, I want to say our journey for the Blue Ribbon School status started last January when we got a phone call from the New Jersey Department of Education questioning why I never responded to their emails. And it turns out that their emails were constantly going to my spam file. And so I was sitting there contacting them, and I'm thinking to myself, a graduate professor saying to me, the things you never want to hear, someone saying, hi, I'm from the New Jersey Department of Education, and I'm here to help. Panicked, I thinking it's not park season, we didn't have any answer, and the security breaches, so I'm thinking, what could this be? So she indicated to me that we were nominated to apply for a Blue Ribbon School status for exemplary high performance. And then I paused for a second, and I said, who nominated us? Because I know I certainly didn't. I figured if someone in our community would have done so, they would have notified me. She said, well, this is not something you can apply for. The nomination actually came from the federal government, who's been tracking our progress and flagged us for a number of years, and then contacted the State Department and said, please contact Cedar Hill and ask them if they would make application, which we rarely did so. And she said, think of it like Willy Wonka, where you got invited to a dance, and the only way you can get in is if you have the golden ticket, and you have one of the golden tickets to go in here. So she says, you should be very proud of yourself for getting this level here. So I quickly went and I gathered the ladies behind me to help me with the application process, which is rather daunting. It was a very lengthy process. My binder alone, for my part of the application, I'd say was a good 6 inches thick, and compared to everybody else, it probably had about the same. So I would just like to introduce them, or they can just introduce themselves, who they are. Stephanie?
Stephanie Malfieri, Janice Koch, Lori Rivera, Hayden Fisher, Kathy Lasmus, Caitlin
And so we went through the application process, and the first stage was submitting the application once it was all done, and waiting to see if we needed to do any edits. And unfortunately for us, no edits were needed, which was a very big hurdle in our area here, saying that the application was complete and concise to their liking. And then we just waited. We played the waiting game all through the summer, and we started getting bits and pieces of emails over the summertime to, they wouldn't say it officially, but go ahead and start making your reservations for your hotel and things like that. Although they would never actually say, you got it. But it was, Dr. O'Crary said it perfectly, it is actually a full-on team effort from the parents, the teachers, of course the teachers, this could not be possible without them. But in particular, I want to recognize Ann Fisher, our reading specialist, because every year when we would get the S scores back or whatever the scores were, I would send it to her over the summer, and she would then start generating these spreadsheets about our strengths and weaknesses in particular grade levels. And then she would facilitate grade level meetings with the staff and say, last year, your kids scored very well in this particular area, and they did okay in this area. We're going to focus in on your class in this area for this coming year. So it was because of her going in and modeling lessons, always being accessible to the teaching, to the staff, and to the students. And if we had to figure out a reason, the person who kind of was the spearhead behind our excellence over the number of years is Ms. Fisher. Was behind us. Last year, or 2 years ago, when we were down in the state accepting the state school of character, I was online getting a bagel and some refreshments, and the woman behind her seat had shirts on. And the lady came up to me and said, "Oh, you're from Cedar Hill?" I said, "Yeah." She says, "The one in Morris County?" I said, "Yes, that's us." She goes, "Oh, that's the school we've been hearing so much about." And I didn't know who she was, but she kept on saying that there's a lot of good talk in Trenton about your school. You're doing some great things, and some good things going to be coming to you in the future. And I guess that was a precursor to the Blue Ribbon. Yes.
Oh, you said
Okay. Anything to add, ladies? The application process took us about 3 months or so to complete. Each one of us taking separate sections of the application, working on it independently in small groups, and then coming together to really kind of facilitate and really do our editing process. That was a 2-day marathon in my office, like all day long. It was like an 8-9 hour day where we just sat there and just shot it up onto my little projector, and then we just recreated it, and we submitted it down to the wire. We wanted to make sure that it was picture perfect for us, and unfortunately it was. It was such a great experience. Ann, you want to talk about DC at all?
Before we left for DC, I asked Dr. Raj what he hoped we would see or hear. And we talked about various things, and I said, I, for one, hope we meet some educators from far away. And the first day, we sat down at tables randomly, and we found out we were with the Hawaii contingent. And they were very interesting. And then at the workshop the second day, Dr. Raj met some Alaskan educators. And that was particularly interesting to me because I graduated from East Anchorage High School many years ago. And it was interesting to hear that they no longer have just 2 high schools, they have 5. And they have earthquake drills. It was so exciting meeting educators from all over the country, and we just thank you for giving us the support we needed to achieve this very wonderful award. Thank you.
The one gentleman from Hawaii, when we were talking about our plans after the ceremony ended, they were staying the extra couple of days to sightsee the nation's capital. I said I was leaving that night, I was driving back home. And we're talking, I was saying, "You're driving home?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's only about a 4-hour trip." He goes, "Do you do that often when you just get in your car and go to other states?" Wait, you're in Hawaii, that doesn't happen that often. So he was very mesmerized by the fact that I could just get in my car and go anywhere I wanted to in the lower 48 there. So it was quite an accomplishment. So again, these are the ladies who represent the wonderful cross-section of teachers I had at Cedar Hill, which I'm very fortunate enough to be the principal there. We have special ed teachers, we have reading specialists, kindergarten, speech therapists. We've got a nice cross-section, brilliant minds behind me, and it's because of them that I can go down to Washington, D.C. and accept the award on behalf of Cedar Hill. I couldn't be more proud as a principal. I couldn't be more proud to say that I work with these fine young ladies, and it's a fantastic opportunity. And again, thank you very much. I wanted to just past year we did get some as we get accolades from everywhere, so it's got a letter from President Obama, Congressman Frelinghuysen, the Governor Christie letter, as well as some others in here. So I can pass that around if you're interested in seeing that. As we were getting our award, this is also a resolution that was made to us that we are now blue ribbon status. You enter the stage area and you get presented with the plaque. Which is a quite lovely that's a beautiful thing. Right? So you get this plaque and then you move on to off the stage and then they present you with the flag. And then as you exit the stage, you're then presented with a banner. Dr. King, I think you said it best in your email to us that there were 10 schools in the state of New Jersey that received the honor. 4 of them were private parochials out of 6 public schools, but of those 6, 1 was a VOTEC and 1 was a charter school. So there were 4 open enrollment traditional public schools in there, and we are one of them. Considering there's just over 2,500 schools in the state of New Jersey, and depending on what website you look at, 129,000 in the nation. So that is why we are, in the less than 1%. And it was very humbling to say, I'm sitting there in this auditorium, in this grand ballroom with all these other educators and saying, wow, I'm here. It's something else. It was quite an experience. And one last thing I want to show you is we have, in addition to the outside facade of the school, it just happened this afternoon. So this is President of the Board of Education. So it looks quite gorgeous. That's facing Conroe Road. Yeah. Just see. Once you earn blue ribbon status, it never goes away. So we will always be a 2016 blue ribbon school. So that is great news for Montville Township, great news for Cedar Hill. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to tell you a little bit about the trip. Thank you.
Matt?
I just wanted to ask if any board members have any comments.
Oh, yes. I could gush and gush and gush about Cedar Hill, but I've heard me gush about Cedar Hill many, many times. I've been involved in the Cedar Hill community since 1992. I spent 13 years as a parent and sent both my children through Cedar Hill, and I'm bursting with pride. It doesn't surprise me at all that this group of educators, that this school would be recognized at such a high level. And Mike, you deserve credit. You really are a servant leader. You allow your staff, your professionals, to take something and run with it. And so you should, I know that you want to tamp down your involvement in this, but it really takes that kind of leadership for something like this to happen. So you should pat yourself on the back as well. Well, that's really all I wanted to say. I was kind of, we can't underestimate, people will say that it's the staff, and it is the staff, but specifically, congratulations to the teachers and students, specifically to you. Because without you, the teachers are the most important link in a quality education. You can have the most fabulous curriculum, you can have the most fabulous buildings, you can have the most
wonderful parents, and we have all of those. But without you, you are the critical element in the classroom. And we thank you for your work and now for this accomplishment.
Any other comments from the board? I'll wrap things up. Your enthusiasm, Dr. Raj, speaks for itself. When we first learned about this, the pride that we as board members and the administration had in learning about this accomplishment supersedes just about anything over the years I've been a board member. To hear that the blue ribbon designation will be something which the school carries eternally is a very special thing, and it's truly a remarkable accomplishment. We congratulate all of you, and recognizing full well that it is an entire team that does it. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Please go ahead.
I need your banners out.
Okay.
Up there.
Great, thanks, sir. Great job, Louise.
Thank you very much.
Great job. I'll hold it back, okay.
As close as you possibly can. And thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
That actually concludes my report. If you couldn't say anything else, I wouldn't want to hamper with that wonderful celebration. So,
Is the meeting going to continue, and will continue after that? Jim, Mr. Matias, Business Administrator's report.
Thank you, Dr. King. Yes, this evening we have our district's auditor with us, Mr. Rob Hay from Christine Higgins. He's going to give us basically a synopsis of the financial results of the audit for the 2016 school year.
I'm lucky one gets to follow that.
Thank you.
But I do have good news for the district, for the board. We recently did complete, as Jim said, your June 30, 2016 annual audit. I have to report that the district received what we call unmodified opinions in your audit. We give 3 opinions in our audit. One is on your financial statements, one is on your internal controls, and a third opinion on your state and federal grant programs. In all three instances, you received what we call an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of opinion of assurance in order to begin. We basically start out at that, and then if we need to, we move down into lesser assurances, but you got the unmodified opinion in all three instances, which is a very positive result from the audit. Just to talk about the financials briefly, we did meet with the Finance Committee to go over the finances in detail, but just to give you a summary of where the district ended the year. Your fund balance at the end of the year, which is really where you ended the year after your revenues came in and your budget was expended. You ended the year with about $3.5 million in surplus. It's a little bit lower than last year, but you are still exceed the state requirement. The state allows you to keep about 2% of your budget as a fund balance. You got a little bit more than that, which is a positive thing. What happens now next year, when you start the budget, you'll have that money available to balance the next year's budget. So for financial purposes, you're above where the state requires you to be, which is a positive thing. You also have other fund balances, which are not necessarily surplus money. You have money set aside for capital reserve, about $2.5 million set aside for capital reserve to fund any future capital improvements outside your budget. And you also have a maintenance reserve of about $120,000, which is to fund ongoing maintenance costs that are outside of the normal annual appropriations in case you need to use that. So from a financial standpoint, the district ended the year a very positive note, which is also a good result. Recommendation-wise, we issue our auditor's management report, which details any findings or recommendations from the audit. We did have 2 findings in the audit, which resulted in 2 recommendations. But on a good note, the recommendations we have are what we call general comments, general findings. There are 3 levels of findings we give. One is a general finding, one is a significant deficiency in your operations, and one is a material weakness in your internal controls. Both of these findings in the audit are general comments, which are basically just kind of house cleaning items that we found during the audit that I believe you have a corrective action plan probably in front of you tonight to approve, which should correct those issues. And up to 2 findings that are in the audit, none are repeats from last year, so any findings we had in last year's audit have been corrected. So all in all, I think it's a positive audit. No repeat recommendations, only 2 minor recommendations for the audit. Financially very healthy moving into the future for your future budgets and future capital projects, and you receive the highest level of opinion. So I think all in all, it's a very positive audit. I'd like to thank Jim and his staff for his help in completing the audit. Didn't run into any problems when we asked for any information. It was given to us quick. It was a very smooth audit process this year. You'll have the audit has been filed with the state. The deadline is December 5th, so you're well ahead of that deadline filing with the state. So that completes your annual audit procedures. So, any questions? If anybody has any questions on the audit?
Any questions, Mike? Well, I recall, as I guess a member longstanding at this point, years back, before you did, where there were some very difficult audits for the district. And since you've been here 2.5 years, you've straightened up the issues that you were brought in here to straighten up. We've had a bunch of very stellar, very positive audits in a row. And to hear you say, Rob, I don't think any of the members of the F&F committee needed the acknowledgement, but it is so nice to hear you say that we are financially very healthy and that there were just 2 house cleaning items. I want to thank you, Mr. Tevis, and your staff for the job that you are doing, and feel very positive about where we stand. So thank you, Rob, as well.
And if I could, I really need to give the credit to where it's due, and that is the business office staff. And I got to tell you, Diana Majori, who's now been a little over her first full year in the position as the assistant to the business administrator, she really took the lead on it. And I really commend her. And along with the entire staff, it is a team effort, there's no doubt about it.
I also want to lend my commendations to Jim and Diane, since you're both here, and the rest of your staff, because it's an $80 million operation, and the regulations in terms of the accounting pieces and what the state requires are extensive and cumbersome. And for us to come through with just some very minor, recommendations, I think, findings, I think it is really a testament to the strong folks that we do have working in the business office, and we're very fortunate. So I commend you, and I thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. And I'm going to give a commendation to the board. This is a board that is supportive. And the finance committee, they're not micromanaging, and they give me flexibility I think I need to work on internal controls and spend time on those important matters. And that's very appreciated.
Man, I'd also like to thank Jim and the business office staff because as we heard Dr. Raj before, he has a lot of help. And I think the people in the office deserve a nice accolade also. I'd also like to thank the auditor for getting you ordered in a timely fashion. I know last year was a little late because of extenuating circumstances.
Extenuating
And
circumstances.
I would encourage you maybe to schedule an appointment for next summer so we're not at the bottom of the
I
list.
still have a few more to get through for this year, so.
But I know that I appreciate your advice and your wisdom to the business office. I know you get questions during the year, and we appreciate that, and that's why your firm is there. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that with Jim too. He does contact us throughout the year with questions for things that come up, and it actually makes the audit go smoother over there because it's not a whole year's worth of questions that come at one time. It's a lot of that. That's cool. It's a very pleasant audit to do.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things while Rob is packing up, you know, in 2010, when we lost all of our state aid, and there were so many changes in the state, and I have no idea what the tally is in terms of how many dollars we have not received from the state over these 6 years at this point. But there are a lot of balls to juggle in terms of keeping the budget in the clear. And I think we've been very fortunate to have made some very good decisions. And, you know, as you were talking, Jim, about your staff and the Facilities and Finance Committee, I would have to say that, Charlie, you're a real asset in terms of your experience over the years of business administration and being current and helping the board, helping the district stay current and in a good position with the budget. And I just wanted to, while everyone else is being thanked, I wanted to say that your work is really very important on the board.
I thank you very much, but as you know, my role there is not as an administrator.
Absolutely.
As that board member, and I know when we meet the finance committee, we might have another thing or two we look at during the year, because we can't constantly want to make sure systems and checks and balances are there, and we'll probably bring that up in the next meeting or two. But I appreciate your comments about the game.
Thank you. Moving on. Do you have any other administrative reports? Thank you. Committee reports.
Communications. Matt, just a quick update on the Communications Committee, which met on Tuesday, November 2nd. It seems like a much longer time ago. In addition to the regular Communications Committee meeting, we also have a subcommittee that formed this year on district branding. Sue Marinell is the chair of that committee, along with Andrea Orris, Rebecca Sheehan of MTHS, our new incoming AD, William Koch, has signed up to join the committee as well, and myself. On Tuesday night, we hosted our first branding brain trust meeting. The goal of this subcommittee is to look at developing a brand for the district itself as a whole. We currently have in each of our schools their own budding senses of communities, of a brand and identity, and we want to look at how we can develop a better sense of the umbrella that incorporates this great big community of ours. The first step was to bring together a number of stakeholders, parents, family groups, community groups, building administrators, faculty, staff, into sort of a general pool, just to get a sense of where we are as a district, where we hope to go, and how we can map out the process from here. That meeting was a great, productive input meeting. We already have the next one scheduled and planned for January 10th at 7 p.m. at MTHS. And if anyone has any questions, we'll be circulating our PowerPoint presentation from that meeting soon. Sue, I know I owe it to you. And then we'll be keeping the board up to date and appraised of what goes on with those meetings as well.
Thank you, Mike. I know Karen and I both, because there was a communications committee meeting.
I happened to attend that.
Right. We happened to see part of the branding. It was really interesting how you ran the meeting and the excitement in the room. And so many of the individuals have such great backgrounds for this, so it'll be exciting to see what comes up.
It's such a fun topic. How can you resist?
You know, thanks for doing it. Thanks for doing it. Any other committee reports? Mr. O'Brien.
A couple. I just want to mention the Morris County School Boards Association workshop meeting last week. I thought it was one of the better meetings about school security. It's interesting to hear the speakers that they had, from former law enforcement and prosecutor, past law enforcement, and the way that the school security has and is evolving at the time. It was a very, very informative, worthwhile workshop last week. And also, the high school, just for anyone that's interested, the PTC meets this Thursday night at 6:30. I'll be there for anybody.
6:30.
6:30, this 2 nights from now. I think that's it.
I'm sorry.
High school PTC.
High school.
Karen.
Just to piggyback on what Mike said about Morris County, there was also an extraordinarily interactive presentation by Marissa Castronova and Jen Palumbi. These are 2 teachers. One of them is ours. Marissa Castronova teaches in at Mazar. She's a science teacher. Jen Palumbi teaches in Parsippany. She's also a science teacher. Jen teaches 4th grade. Marissa teaches 7th grade. And they have a cross-grade, cross-district project called STEM Pals. And it's really to engage students and teachers in a wider community of science learning. They brought to us part of their project, and part of their project was to break up the group into teams, distribute bags with spaghetti, marshmallows, and a length of tape, and we had to build a structure, and whoever built the tallest freestanding structure in 7 minutes was, quote, the winner. Well, you never saw a bunch of adults have so much fun, and this is what the kids are doing. So they are to be commended for their innovation and creativity. It was really quite marvelous.
Karen, I'd like to say that I think the Montville table had the best
We won.
production in that.
To see the designs evolve was really a lot of fun. And one item that maybe we can talk about in safety and security was the Alice training. That was during the discussion on safety and security. Alice is an acronym for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. And this is an experience that Roxbury has. So maybe at some point in time in the future we can talk about that in our own safety committee. And then just 2 items. We had a discussion about payment in lieu of taxes. And so we're planning a discussion on that at Morris County School Boards in March. I think that had been a request from somebody on our board. So that's being planned for March. And then was also a request from a board member in another school district to do a little thing on board docs. So that's going to be done in April. I mean, we may have a decision by then, but for anyone interested, we're going to do more in April.
Might I ask, is our district involved in or planning to move towards the ALICE program to implement that? Is there any thoughts about that?
Well, I think we can discuss it, the Safety and Security Committee can discuss that. And obviously, typically decisions like that, you would get the input from the local police in terms of their feelings.
Okay, so we're not there yet.
No.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Did we get an agenda for the security meeting?
Yes,
actually, that's what you also installed as Alice.
Again. You mail it to me again tomorrow, please?
Any other committee reports, delegate liaisons, ETC liaisons?
Yeah, I attended DAC last week, a monthly meeting. Again, I guess one of the always underlying things is the desire to have more programs in the schools. And of course, you understand there's there's always a problem between the desire to have programs in the schools and the amount of facilities and time that's available to spend. But it's an ongoing discussion, and I imagine at some point they either will or have speak to Dr. Rovitar as to things that they might want to try to get in school. But we don't really decide anything definite, of course. Just an ongoing thing.
Thanks, Mike. Karen?
I do attend National Honor Society. Renee was there, Mike was there. And it's always a pleasure to see our students honored in that way. It was held in the media center at the high school, which really provided a very lovely setting. And I did have an opportunity to attend the Cedar Hill Veterans Day celebration. And that's always a very moving celebration. It's a day-long event, and they have activities for the vets. They serve them lunch, and then they have a very moving assembly in the afternoon. So I was happy to be able to attend that.
Any other PTC liaisons, delegate liaisons?
I just wanted to mention about the Mustangs. After the Mustang meeting, I did send an email to everyone on the board. And I wouldn't normally do that, except it was, as I hope I made clear, it was on specific request that they asked that I inform the board of their concerns about that particular issue so that finance committee could take it up at some point.
Right, and I believe that that's on the finance committee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
And Matt, one last thing. Congratulations to Mike, Pamela, and John on your hard-fought reelection.
It was,
It was an exhausting battle.
I've never seen so many votes, actually, as this time, 4,000 some odd votes.
I was paying $2 a vote.
But I should say something about that, though. It's 4,000 votes, but that's significantly less than they go off the town council. Now, I know they're running unopposed, but so are we. And I look again at the ballot, and I see all the way down Republican Democrats, and way off to the side I see Board of Education. And I know a number of people after the election said, oh, I didn't even see that. So I really think something should be taken up with the Board of Elections, because quite honestly, whether you want to put the Board of Education on the left and then maybe the other people on the right, but people go down.
I think it's not the Board of Elections, it's the clerk.
The clerk, okay. Clerk's office. But clearly something needs to be done, because I can't believe that an uncontested election.
Well, Mike, everybody got a sample ballot. If they looked at their sample ballot,
Yeah.
they would have seen where it is.
Yes, who looks at the sample ballot?
I know other districts are going to buy this and not get that.
But I honestly and truly talk to people, Charlie, they look, whether it's Republican or Democrat, they go all the way down, and then once they've done their votes, their eye doesn't go all the way over here.
I know.
It's a design defect, which I think really needs to be changed.
I think the answer, Mike, lies in the quote from Joe Kennedy about the Nixon-Kennedy election in 1960. When asked about it, he said, I'll certainly pay for a win, but I'm not going to pay for a landslide.
Well, congratulations to the three of you, and we are very pleased to have you back on board. Thank you. Moving on, public participation for items on the agenda. Seeing as there is none. So moved. Thank you, Charlie. I'd like a motion. Second.
Is that included? Come on, I mean, the addendum? And that's
I had it doing.
Including the addendum
For items I throw and the addendum.
All right, there is one revision that needs to be made. Yes. Item L22, L22. Page 8. So it's under resignations, retirements, and terminations. The second item, second person listed there, Jonathan Beato, that is not the correct name. The correct name that belongs there is Jacqueline, Jaclynn, Hinz, Hinz.
So that person there is not resigning?
No, the wrong name got put on the agenda.
All right, thank you, Renee. Any board member comments, questions about item I? Minutes, item J. Board member comments, questions, item K. Item L.
I have two questions here. L3, number 5. Is all the other long-term subjects in 260, is that, this one, this says 200, is there a reason, is it a typo, is it?
No, it's actually, it's not a full day assignment, it's a partial day, so there's some prorating. We probably could have clarified that a little bit.
It didn't say that, though.
Yeah, sorry about that.
The other thing on the next page, L4, I assume it's numbers 6 and 7, the number on the left, is that 6
Yes,
and 7?
it should be 6 and 7.
And my question is, why are they different hourly rates for both being aides?
I couldn't hear you. What was it?
L4, number 6 and 7. I'm just wondering why they're different amounts. If you don't know, it's okay, you
No.
get back to us.
Yeah, 7 degree, because we're talking about a certified teacher, and I don't believe number 7 is a certified teacher.
So, say again?
Number 6 is a certified teacher, so the hourly rate is based on step and guide.
Full-time teacher, acting as an aide, extracurricular aide.
After school.
So they make more money than the regular aides?
They get
This is
paid.
the medal program?
No, this is for participation in sports. This is to assist a student with participation in sports.
Oh, and it didn't say that, so I was questioning, I'm sorry. And the last one I had was on L6, Matt. And it said, it was always my understanding, through years' experience I have, that state tournaments, the state sells the tickets, or we sell it. We got to give the money to the state, and then they pay the helpers. And I'm just wondering if that's the process, or if it changed, or what?
Yes, I can address that. Actually, the site manager state tournament is $100. This is being approved as a chaperone stipend in the event that a coach or the assistant coach is not able to actually attend that state tournament. We called over to the athletics department today, and they gave us some insight into this. So, for example, they recently had that situation happen. The actual coach was unable to attend. State tournament rules mandate that we have to have at least 2, I'm calling them chaperones, for lack of a better term. I don't know what you might call them educationally. And the crowd control, the same thing, let's say the state is being approved because the state mandates at least 1 or 2, depending on the sport, crowd control people from the opposing team to attend the state tournament. So this is something new that the state is kind of doing, another unfunded mandate, if you will, passing this clause on.
Well, this is NJSIA, it's not the state.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so the question is then, we have a state tournament game, we collect money, the state takes the money, or NJSIA, and then we pay expenses.
That's right. For these 2, yeah.
And this is new?
A couple of years old, pretty new.
Can you get the statute or something, because this is crazy.
Yeah, I just wanted to into that.
They're collecting the money, we have to pay crowd control, we have to pay, and NJSIA, that's what comes with the money.
Yeah, these are the 2 that they're mandating.
In the past, it used to be, you get so many free tickets for staff.
Does that include the referees? We pay the referees too, out of our own money?
With the state tournaments, these are the only two positions that I was told by the athletic department that they're mandating at this time. Is the crowd control, one or two depending upon the sport, and what they're referring to as site manager, is really a chaperone. We only wind up paying one chaperone typically because Paul Picatello always attends the state tournament, and he doesn't get paid.
Just not to play, but I'll go for it. But can we get some NJS? I'm curious. Sure. They're just ripping off everybody now. I mean, pretty soon we'll have to pay them to enter the tournaments, and then we'll have to pay everybody, and they'll take the money. Not a bad game, you know?
Yeah, I'll get a copy of those regulations out to the board.
If you could, no rush.
Anybody else? Mike?
Yeah, I want to agree with Mr. Grau. I don't want to go into them entirely, but I do have my very own concerns about the NJSIAA, especially now, knowing what I just heard.
No, I'm sorry, Mike, what was the last, knowing what?
Knowing what I just heard about the procedures at this time, which have evolved over time. This is not the way it always was.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions about item L? Moving on to M. Comments, questions? N.
Forrest is doing a show over at Shore Mall, right? I asked about that.
Yes.
Yes. When is that? Do we know?
I don't know that we have a specific date, and we don't include the dates on the agenda. But usually, most of the malls do that, where they have, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, have a series of performances by student groups and.
Would be nice to go out and support them.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find out when that's happening.
Item N, policy item O for the agenda. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Grau.
Yes, on everything except check number 83800, I believe,
Mr. O'Brien.
Oh, no on Dr. King's law.
Mr. O'Brien.
Aye.
Dr. Corleen.
Yes, except abstain check number 83905.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Dr. Modrak.
Yes.
Mr. Morello.
Yes.
Mr. Palmer.
Yes.
Ms. Novi. And Dr. King.
Yes, abstaining, check 83957.
Motion's passed.
Okay, as we move forward now to old business.
I did share information with you all. We had the presentation at the last board meeting in terms of, an overview of the board doc system, how that actually works. I did indicate at that point that I would place this on the agenda for discussion. I shared information with you in terms of the cost. So I'm not sure where you are with this in terms of discussion and additional information.
What's your suggestion in terms of how we proceed?
Well, I think it would make sense for the board to move in this direction. We, as you can see, this is small, but we kill significant trees, in terms of preparing the agenda. There's also a fair amount of staff time that is involved in copying, collating, preparing the packets.
So we get rid of the staff member then.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I would say that they would actually be able to finish their responsibilities in a reasonable period of time on those board agenda days. I think there's some value in it, and I know a number of other districts have moved in that direction. So my recommendation would be that the board consider moving ahead with this, but they're your meetings, they're your agendas, so I think it's up to you all to decide, if this is something that you would feel comfortable with and like to move ahead with.
Well, back years ago, when we were thinking about going possibly to laptop, as I believe town council did, or other devices, Mr. Titus, you have been difficult for the board. Mr. T. Jim thought that it would have been a little bit difficult for him to do the conversion. Here we are now in 2016. Where are you with respect to being able to handle something like this? Is it a lot of work for you? Is it extra work or is it less work?
No, less work. I mean, just what Dr. Rotar is presenting is an actual system. I mean, what I was referring to back then was simply doing it on my own. Scanning the documents and doing it electronically, which I've done in a previous district, but it was a much smaller district and it was easy to manage. What Dr. Rotar is proposing is bringing on an actual company and a system that actually does the nitty-gritty work behind it and the organization and all that. This would be, in my opinion, much easier.
And one of the other reservations I remember hearing back then was that some, shall I say, members who didn't grow up with technology were concerned, that our young board member, Mr. Johnson, is smiling because you grew up with it, so it's easy for you to adapt. But there are some of us who are a little bit afraid about the idea of using technology. So how does, open it up to the board? How does everybody feel about it? Mike?
I just want to be clear. I mean, I'm all for change and I love trees. So we don't need to be taking the computer back and forth, right? It could be sent to our home computer. Is that correct? Or
Yeah,
and
it's
we'll
a
just have a
web-based
computer here.
system. So you could access it from anywhere. If you were on vacation and the agenda was released, you could access it as long as you had access to the internet. So you would kind of access it at home on your own device. You can access it on a smartphone. And then here at the board meetings, we would have Chromebooks set up at each of your spots that would allow you to access the documents here at your spot so that you'd have them before you during the course of the meeting.
Personally, okay, being, maybe one of the dinosaurs of the board, I'm ready to, if this is where we're headed in the future, I would be ready to move ahead and have a workshop. I would, I'm probably one of the least technologically adept here. So,
yeah, I understand. Yeah, I was one of those ones a while ago, a little apprehensive. But I think it's a smartphone, but I'm getting better. If we move on this, my suggestion might be, we're going to need a technician or two here at the meeting for a while to enable us to have difficulty. Now, is this going to be a Google app or something like that, or it'll just come to my email address at home? It's not that, it's a special password, right?
You'd have login.
I have
To be
a
able
login?
to access it, yes.
And if I wanted to print page 38 out,
You
I'd
could.
be able to do that?
Yes.
Without any difficulty?
Yep.
And then coming to the meeting, I would have to bring nothing.
No hemorrhages, no.
No what?
No hemorrhages.
I will bring nothing.
You will bring nothing. Because as you recall during the demonstration, the system has the ability for you to make notations, so that if you reviewed the agenda and you wanted to remember to ask a question
Right, tonight I had a question, I'm sure.
you could make a note, and it would be visible to you and you alone. So when they got to that part of the agenda, your note would be there to remind you.
Another suggestion might be if we move ahead, maybe the first meeting or two, we could do both ways. Have the hard copy sent to
Have a
us.
little crosswalk
And then also,
experience. Yeah. You have a little crosswalk experience.
a little security blanket, yeah. Just so we don't totally, I don't totally shoot. I think it's the way to go. I know none of you would ever believe you heard me say that, but I think it's worthwhile to move ahead. But
We've
I
all
want-
been waiting,
I want Boston for
Charlie,
somebody
we've
to
all
sit
been
next to
waiting
me.
for you to say that.
Huh?
We've all been waiting for you to say that.
I need a techie next to me.
Mike, go ahead.
I think if the,
Here next to me.
I think if the two dinosaurs on the board are ready to move ahead, I think we are ready to move ahead. Okay, and maybe we should get a resolution or whatever we have to do and move forward. It's not, rather than dilly-dally, move ahead.
David?
Relative to the cost, it costs me $9,000 a year. How much obviously to upload the documents, there's some effort there to bring all the documents into whatever format. I don't know what it's going to be like to upload those documents, to organize them and situate them on the website so that we can view them. How does that compare in cost to your current expenditures to put together these packages? I mean, it's really a savings.
I don't know that you could necessarily say that there's a pure dollar savings. Do we spend $9,000 on the paper? I'm not sure.
And
We do.
manpower.
And manpower, it's probably close to that. But it's really, it's the combination of that and the efficiency of the system, I think, makes it.
And what will we do with our retirement passenger business?
Have them shred, keep them at the board office.
Yes, we have that capability.
Wouldn't have to come on and shred.
We don't have to shred.
Right.
That means you don't have to
Just in the
That's
past
all
week,
excuses if I did that.
just in the past week, we had a situation where the courier, and I don't want the courier out for it. No?
He has other responsibilities.
Okay, good.
Only
Then he-
one
but he had
portion of his job.
2 trips in 1 week to everybody's house. I mean, the passenger pigeons, you're right. It's just whoever said that, you know, I mean, it really.
Let's look at the worst scenario. It doesn't work, we can always go back.
Right.
We have the hardware to give to the kids. I mean, that's the worst scenario, which I don't, you wouldn't know off the top of your head how many boards in Morris County are paperless. Does anybody know? I know Morris County is, I know some others are.
Yeah, I would say about 50-50.
I know Long Hill is.
That's right.
Long Hill is.
It has been for some bit, right?
Yes.
All right, so
Do you want someone to move, do we go ahead with it?
Carmela has a question.
I really just have a logistical question, and I don't remember that we discussed it. Are we gonna be are we gonna be expected to bring our own laptops?
No, we would have Chromebooks here for you.
Oh, that's right.
Bring nothing to the meeting.
Nothing to the
Nothing
meeting.
to the meeting.
Oh, they're gonna be ready for us.
Mhm.
We're not gonna have the Chromebooks?
No, they will be here at the meeting.
For executive session too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, they're portable, you can, yeah.
So-
that means they will be, they'll also be at committee meetings, like finance and facilities.
I don't say negative. I mean, that's me. I
Well,
think
but
this
those
is board.
agendas, aren't they in the system? They go through the system?
The system has that capability
For committee.
for committee information, yeah.
Well, I say baby steps.
Yeah, and the nature of those agendas, they're much more streamlined than what goes on in a board meeting with all of the various attachments and things like that, so.
And I'd like to start just with the board meetings and forget the agendas, let's keep them the way they are till we learn how to turn it to good well.
So just the way I understand this working is, we turn on our laptops at home, we go on the internet, we access the internet, we have a website we go to.
You go to a website and you'll
And
have a
log in and our password, we access the information.
Probably a lot of links to.
We make our notes either there or on our own pads, and then we come to a board meeting and the Chromebook is set up, ready to go.
Well, you'll have to sign in.
Right.
Because you need to access your information.
Right, but it'll be here, present for us, and our notes will show up if we put notes in.
Yep.
I know, as far as our notes, are they there permanently until I guess we leave the board, or are they deleted and there's only one copy of the meeting?
No,
It's your
they
own
live.
private little area there on the website for you to have all your agendas that you're taking notes on, and you keep all of those rather than going to a
Yeah,
meeting
exactly.
site where
Your own set of
everyone-
files, yeah.
You can't delete your own notes.
If we do move forward, would this be under finance and facilities jurisdiction
My opinion is, Mr. Chairman, if neither is here tonight, let's make a decision. The only thing finance would be involved is the $9,000.
or? Well, I'll make a motion if that's what if you want to do.
Second.
I would make a motion that we, if I'm having answers,
Go ahead.
I would make a motion that we proceed to modernize, if that's the best word, or computerize our system of communication with the board, whatever the wording is. I think we should move forward.
Well, I think not to put words in your mouth, but I think the nature of the resolution really needs to be that we would enter into a contract with Board Docs for services, and we can insert the, okay, so we'll actually craft a resolution.
Yeah, I would-
So you're giving us,
So for this evening, do we have support?
Go ahead.
to move forward?
So I move that the document be crafted and that we move ahead if there is a second.
Do we need an actual formal resolution, or can we
No,
begin
we
this?
don't.
But
Can we
consensus.
begin this by just a consensus?
You don't need a resolution now, because all you're doing is authorizing that a resolution be prepared.
for the next meeting.
Right, okay, sounds good.
And we will do that.
You need a vote?
No.
We do not, we do not.
You've just given us direction.
Question? The public, they will still continue to get the paper documents that are handed out at the meeting?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
I'm sorry?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
The board meetings that I have visited in Morris County, that's what they do. They have paper for the public.
That's the way they do it? Just so they know that they'll be able to get a hard.
So what-
Yeah, they can access the agenda in advance online as well, but here if they come to the meeting, that they will typically have paper copies for the public.
Typically, the public would be working with a number of boards to board docs. Typically, what would be available to the public is the agenda, not all the attachments.
Same as what we
You don't
have.
get the attachments anyway.
Same as what we have.
Yeah, if I'm right, this is the agenda. This is what we get. I mean, this is no problem doing that.
Right.
Right, in the back.
All right, sounds good. I just want to say, I'm very impressed that especially those who did not grow up with this technology are willing to take this step. It's not an easy thing to do, so glad to hear that the board wants to move ahead and save trees. Any, some more so than others.
None of us grew up with it, save one.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Any old business and any general board comments, new business? Board comments, new business. Seeing as there is none, public participation. Opening the floor for any public comments. Seeing as there is none, I would just like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving holiday. I guess the school district will be closed for a little bit, and hope it's a safe, healthy, and enjoyable holiday. Motion to adjourn.
Second.